Okay, it stopped spinning. That means we're live. Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Bunker. This is the Bunker Nation Show. I'm going to be your host for the evening. Thank you for being here, if you are here. Whoever knows. You got to let me know, though. If you're here, if the sound is good, if the video is good, if everything's working, type into the comments section. Just say where you are. Say things are okay, video, audio, okay, whatever. Hello, Terry in Andrews, Texas. Hot one today in the CTX. I don't know what the temperature is, but I could look real quick. I bet it's close to 100, or it has been close to 100. I know it was supposed to be up around there with the heat index. 96 degrees, 15% chance of rain tonight. Humidity is high. All right, everybody, in case you're new here. All right, Daniel, good to see you. Scott, glad to see you. In case you're new here, my name is Michael Bunker. I am a expert in survival, preparedness, off-grid living, doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm here to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. You can always type into the comment section anything you want to talk about. I'll be glad to talk about most of it. If not, I just delete your comment. We do have a topic for today, but that doesn't mean we have to talk about that. The topic of the day is resistance. And I think you probably think you know what I'm going to say. This is one of those topics where you can talk about it. I can talk about this for hours and hours and hours. And hello, Richard King, the Rey del Pescado. I don't know why I said Pescado. Rey del Ricardo, not fish. Anyway, you think you know what I'm going to say. And I could sit here and talk about this for hours, and people would nod their head at you. But this is one of those circular realities or circular truths that is so true that while you're actually saying it, people are resisting the truth of it. It is an absolute ironic fact. They're resisting the truth of it. They are rejecting it. They are avoiding the weight of the truth of it. So that's what I was kind of thinking about talking about. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. First, hit the like button. You should do that because it helps in the algorithm. It helps YouTube decide to let more people see my videos, which is very important right now. After my last video, which got flagged, demonetized. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we got invaders. People coming into the comments section from Facebook. I think it's a planned thing. I've already blocked 4. They do it because they know that the truth is coming out and they don't want anybody to hear it, so they're just trolls. Your head coach at OHS called you Kingfish. I have another friend that we call Kingfish, so I can't call you that. All right, y'all. So the thing is, resistance is a principal element, foundational element of survival. In fact, it's so ingrained in our DNA that resistance is necessary for every element of human life to continue. Every single element of human life is strengthened and encouraged and made possible through resistance. Our first moves of independence are to push against gravity, to push against the forces of nature, to stand up while the force of gravity is pushing down on us. And so our body in every sense, the old trope, in the old days, you would be born and the doctor would spank you to get you to scream so that you could inhale, you could strengthen your lungs. This was a form of resistance. And in every sense, muscle development, our immune system is strengthened by opposition. It's strengthened by forces being applied against it. The system. Hello, Mary in Oregon. Hello, Cynthia in Indiana. Hello, everybody. Come on in here, say hi. The system itself, being evil and antichrist, naturally wants to alleviate and relieve stress and pressure. Everything in the system, everything about it is designed to give people what they want without any labor or any resistance being applied. We learn in, it's the end times. Why fight it? It exactly fits into what I'm talking about. You start off with what could be very well a misinterpretation of prophetic scripture, and it's for that reason you give up. So in physical fitness, we increase the resistance as a way of creating hypertrophy and building muscle. Muscle is built by increasing resistance, continually increasing the resistance. And what happens with the human body in every aspect, in our immune system, in our skeletal system, in our muscular system, and every system, when it faces off against an adversary, when it faces off against pressure and stress and resistance, it attempts to grow stronger. It attempts to bolster itself so that through that growth, it will no longer, that enemy will no longer be valid. So when you see people who are capable of walking across hot coals, or they sleep on a bed of nails, or people who do feats of strength, or people who do really remarkable things with their bodies, they've done it by increasing that activity incrementally so that the body grows and adapts to strengthen itself against it. The same thing happens with us spiritually. That is an entire lifelong study that most people are not going to engage in. And the same thing is true with our immune system, which is very applicable to today. We will be dead before everything crashes. Those kind of attitudes, they're just eye-rolling. People that say, because this defeatist idea that they don't really believe that, and I can prove it because they haven't just gone ahead and killed themselves. They really don't believe it. Everybody who ever tells you some defeatist statement like, well, there's nothing you can do about it, so if I'm going to die, I'm just going to die. They don't just die. They don't. Historically, they don't. What they do is they go along and they get along until things get tough, and then they demand somebody else do something to help them or save them. They never just die. So nobody who says, oh, and I've met thousands of people who have said this to me. Oh, I'm not going to go out and buy a bunch of beanie weenies and water and Gatorade and put it in my garage. I'm not going to store up food and everything. You know what? If things get that bad, I just want to die. They never just die. We have the history of the world to study. We can study the invasion of countries. We can study wars. We can study the Russian Revolution. We can study what was going on in Europe. We can study the 1600s when after a fire and after a plague, everybody thought this was the end of the world. Those people never just die. They never just go lay on their bed. They show them doing that in movies, but they don't do that in real life. In real life, they become panicked. They demand somebody else come and do something for them. They knock on your door demanding to be let in. And they want everything that you've done to prepare, everything you've done to face resistance and strengthen yourself and strengthen your family, to then be used to prepare for them. So I never let them get away with saying, oh, we're going to be dead before that happens. You really don't believe that. You really don't believe it. That's just the way it goes because you're weak and because you expect somebody else to do something for you. And you're just lying to yourself. And they'll while you tell them that, they're going to go, no, not me. No. I'll just roll over and die. Never happens. Yeah. And so the thing is, and I don't want people to miss the truth and the metaphor because of the actual physical truth of the things that I'm saying. This lesson is not about physical weight training. The message is that the same people who would nod at me right now, they're nodding at me. They're like, you're right. You got to have resistance training to build muscle. You got to increase the resistance. You got to work harder than yesterday. You got to do that. And you tell them the same thing about spiritual growth. You tell them that pain and suffering is the school of eternal life. That we don't pass into the kingdom of heaven without great tribulation, according to the scripture. You don't tell, and it's not just in the spiritual sense, it's also in the political sense, it's in the physical sense. People, we will never improve our lot. In any realm, you will not improve your immunity by popping pills. You just won't. And every single one of you, and this is not an attack, I'm telling you the way that you're taught to think. In every sense, your first question to yourself is, how do I avoid discomfort? How do I do this with the least expense in energy and pain and suffering or in money? How do I accomplish this thing without it costing me anything? That's the way we're taught to think. That's the way our society embraces. That's the way our leadership wants people. And I'm telling you all this because this is a survival principle. A survival principle is that without resistance, without learning things the hard way and doing hard things, you will never truly be prepared to survive. People think they will, and so they hear the bunker principle. Now, for those of you who are new, the bunker principle is that you learn 3 to 5 ways to do anything. You have the hard way, all the way up to the on-grid, easy way that you do it now. So when it comes to starting a fire, the way you do it now, cigarette lighter, whatever, auxilium lighter. The hardest way would be to go out into the wilderness with nothing and create a friction fire. And then there's steps along the way. People will go out. Looks like I might be back. You guys let me know if you lost me. We're receiving some resistance. I not only have invaders coming into the comment section trying to stop the broadcast, but we're having some internet resistance. All right, you guys, hit the like button. Let them know. Let them know they're not going to stop us. So I don't remember what I was saying, but in survival, people will go out and do the most difficult thing. They'll learn how to do that thing, and then they'll go, whew, I know how to do that. Now I can just continue to do it the easy way. But being good at something, being excellent at something, means to continue to do it and to continue to practice until it's second nature. There are people who are capable, entire communities, villages, societies, and cultures living in extreme temperatures, extreme cold and extreme heat, to the point that it doesn't bother them. In fact, people that live in Canada are not as bothered by the cold as people here in Texas. Excuse me, I think I got that right. They're not as bothered by the cold as people here in Texas. By engaging in some behavior that involves resistance or involves hardship, difficulty, for long enough, The human mechanism eventually overcomes that, or it perishes. It's one or the other. When you lay down on the bench to do the bench press, your body does not know that you're in a gym doing the bench press. It doesn't know that. It has no way of knowing. All it knows is that there's a heavy bar that will crush you. That is dangerous. And if you struggle with it, if you don't have the ability to do it very well, if you go to the point of muscular failure, your body's brain, not your brain, but the brain of your body, that the brilliance, the spiritual creation of the body, says, we almost died. We need to not die in the future from that. And so it begins to tear down muscle tissue and build it back stronger. It's called hypertrophy. It builds it back stronger. Over time, that weight, which your body thought was going to kill it, becomes easy to remove. And so you have to increase the weight to increase the threat, to increase the resistance, so that your body again feels like it's in peril. The same thing happens with dieting. The same thing happens with any number of things. The problem is that our culture is built foundationally on eliminating resistance. Your mind has been trained from birth that resistance, that hardship, that pain and suffering are bad things, that they're things you ought to avoid. And look at the world we live in today. Whether you want to talk about the thing we're not supposed to talk about or the other thing we're not supposed to talk about. Apparently, there's a lot of things you're not supposed to talk about without getting demonetized around here. But any number of those things, the solution would involve hardship, difficulty, resistance. But people are not acquainted with it. They avoid it. They wear a floaty so they don't drown, which increases the likelihood at some point that they're going to drown. Statistically, they wear constantly those mechanisms of security and safety, handcuffs that have a intrinsic devalue or lack of value in their overall survival. When we would go out on survival camps, extreme cold weather, extreme hot weather camps, you would note the human tendency to go to great lengths to avoid discomfort. To do so, to absolutely survive is wisdom. To do so merely to stop from being discomforted, or to be uncomfortable, mitigates against the lesson and the body's natural tendency to grow past the resistance. This starts when children are the youngest. What do we do now? You bubble wrap them 2 feet thick. Don't ever let them experience heat. Don't ever let them experience cold. Make sure they're vaccinated. Make sure they got everything that's going to keep anything bad or difficult from ever happening to them. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove all penalty, all responsibility. You can't make them feel bad, so we're going to remove shame. Absolutely have to remove shame. In addition to eliminating those tools and mechanisms that humankind has developed over millennia as a survival mechanism, at the same time we're going to build up the opposite. So you can't tell somebody that being morbidly obese is unhealthy and unsafe, even to say so in love. They have to be able to continue in their own self-destruction, because to allow any resistance would be to somehow deperson them, to unperson them. And so by this method, humanity is committing suicide. Our politics, our sociology, our economic system is designed to cause national and cultural suicide. All resistance is being removed. It's amazing to me. You go see a new car, how many things they have inculcated into the vehicle to stop you from having to ever use any muscle, ever. You have to raise your window like this, or like this. You want the tailgate hatch open? No resistance can ever be allowed. And as it happens in the physical, it's also happening in the spiritual. Those who encourage resistance, who encourage difficulty and hardship, who believe that we become stronger as a people when we meet objections, when we have to face shame, when we have to face insults, when we say sticks and stones may break my bones. When we face those things, when we learn to stand against them, we become stronger as a people. Not only stronger physically, we become stronger morally as a people. Now, these are, I don't know how you want to put it, micro movements, and that you can see the minuscule movement of somebody, for example, coming out and saying, okay, now it's not okay to use certain lexicon, to certain words that have been used forever. Now we are encouraging people to take offense by that. You can see that as a micro movement. But when taken as a whole, automatic doors, machines to do everything, even homesteaders, survivalists, they contact me and they say, we got some land, and the first thing I did is I bought a backhoe. And then they say, Michael Bunker's against technology. Michael Bunker's against machines. I'm not even in the slightest. I'm against rejecting the principle of resistance as a survival technique. I'm saying learn to dig holes, to do it well, to do it easily, and to not be afraid of them. And then, if you have a backhoe, it's a tool. I slip back and forth from the real to the metaphor so you'll understand it. You see what I'm saying? You, in your life, frame everything unconsciously around your own comfort and your desire to avoid resistance. You do. Acknowledging that is the first step. It's like AA. You have to acknowledge that our entire culture trains us. Every commercial on TV, every single pharmaceutical commercial, every single ad, every single news article, everything you ever see, every movie encourages you to engage in behaviors that will reduce any likelihood of resistance. From what you buy, to what you consume, to what you believe about your health and everything else. This is a survival lesson. I'm teaching you about survival. You may be too old. You may think, oh, I'm just going to die anyway. Well, because you're a piece of shit because you don't care about your children and the world they're going to live in. You don't care about your grandchildren. These people that say, oh, well, I'll be dead before that happens. You really don't even care? Unbelievable. This is what happens when you remove resistance as a principle of survival, as a principle of the advancement of the species. You end up with pieces of garbage, human flotsam and jetsam, who feel perfectly comfortable saying, I don't have any idea what's going to happen to my children and I don't care. Hi, Kayla. I see PS, but I didn't see your original post. So I don't know what you're talking about. I see your PS, but I didn't see your original. Maybe I missed it. I'm having a little bit of a issue with scum coming into the Facebook comments. So anyway, I'm sorry. I was teaching and I missed a lot of comments. Even in The Naked and Afraid shows it is inner issues that cause those ugly bodies to fail. Yeah, Alone is similar. It's generally moral weakness that causes people to quit and not physical. Although some of them are medicaled out because their bodies are incapable of continuing that resistance. And I have no idea how I would do. I think I would do all right. I would have to put on 30 or 40 pounds before I even began to think about doing a season. But prior, I think I would have done okay. So anyways, hey, y'all, I'm here for you. It's 27 and a half minutes after I started this little rant. I would label this the most important survival message you will ever hear. And you can send it to your spiritual friends. You can send it to your political friends. You can send it to your whatever category of life. Send it to people and they could actually learn something. They won't. Let the secret out of the bag. Everybody hears it and nods their head and thinks they're okay. It's the irony of ironies. To this day, the number one comment I get from people when somebody says, this is Michael Bunker, he lives off grid, this is Michael Bunker, he doesn't have air conditioning, he lives in Texas or whatever it is, but why? All right, you guys come on in here and make some comments. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very short meeting. Hello, Shemaine. Hello, Kayla. That's Kayla. I'm sorry I missed your first message. I don't know if it just didn't come through, but I didn't see it. And so there was no way for me to make it be offended at your compliment. I'm going to pull up something real quickly here because I've had some resistance in the form of people who don't like the things that I'm saying that are coming into different formats and different platforms and trying to pollute the comment section. So what I'm trying to do is see if I can find out some other means of blocking them from doing so. I'm missing a bunch of comments are not coming through. I don't know what that problem is. If you guys have any comments or questions or anything you want to talk about, write them in the comment section. I'll be there in just a second. I'm trying to find out what portal these idiots are using. What format? Isn't it fun to sit here and watch me look at the computer? This is what I actually look like when you're not here. I'm not seeing comments come through. I don't know why it is. Hello, Frank. I just got your comment. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Hello, Laura. Your comment didn't show up, so I just now saw that. I'm trying to go back through Facebook and see if I can see the comments. I'm not seeing any. All right, you guys, time for you to jump in here, ask questions or comments. I'm not seeing them, so I don't know what's going on. You guys, make sure that you hit the like button if you're in YouTube. Yeah, you're getting some buffering. Something's going on. Make sure you go watch this on YouTube if you've missed part of it because of buffering or whatever. I don't know what the problem is. But make sure you hit the like button, go to YouTube, and make sure you subscribe. 50% of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed, and subscribing is such a great value. We're only about 7 subscribers away from 1,800. 2,000 is a big launching pad in YouTube world. Yeah, getting to 2,000, every 1,000 after that becomes easier. But getting to 2,000 is very, very difficult. So I think we're going to be at 1,800 in the next week or so, maybe faster if you guys would share more, but we'll see. Yes, I just got your message, Amy, on seat warmers and coolers. Nobody's saying we don't love comfort. We love it. I love microwaves. I love all that stuff. That's not the point. We love it. I love coats. I love all kinds of things. I love my dad's Ford Flex. It's got a backup camera. I'm just saying, if you embrace all of it, if you never challenge yourself, if you never, ever embrace resistance, if you never, never, never embrace discomfort, you are already dead. Nature itself has demanded it. Nature itself has demanded it. Everything in the human animal desires to be lifted up, to stand against resistance, to break the bonds of tyranny, to embrace the God of the universe, to leave behind the shackles of this mortal coil. But the natural man, the natural world, the natural sin, the natural everything that was subject to the fall wants you to sit on the sofa, eat junk, never exercise, never think, never go out and do any research, never listen to your opponent and be able to properly and correctly elucidate their position. Never, ever, 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 ever embrace discomfort. The audio might be a little tad too high. Maybe that's it. Yeah, I probably need to do some sound work, man. I'm telling you. That all goes back to when I sit back, some people were saying they weren't able to hear me when I was back here, so I probably got it turned up. And I stopped using the microphone because the microphone was just so weak. Resistance. All right, y'all, I'm not getting any questions or comments. I'm going to have some water in a Gatorade bottle, but it's water. And you guys can type in stuff. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Everything that goes on in your news, everything you see is founded upon the natural world's desire to remove resistance from the path of depravity. Let that one there stew around for a little while. Write it down. Put it over your doorpost. If you didn't hear it, everything you see, your news, everything that's happening in the world, everything that occurs in the natural world is designed to avoid or mitigate or remove your resistance to depravity. All right, y'all. Appreciate you guys being here. God bless you. I love you. I'll see you in the next one or the one after that or the day after tomorrow or something like that. God